this month's Virtue Live training event. Today we're privileged to have Virtue founder Leslie Unruh and Donna Rice Hughes with us. As president and CEO of Enough is Enough, Donna is an internationally known internet safety expert, author, speaker, and producer. Her vision, expertise, and advocacy helped to birth the internet safety movement in America at the advent of the digital age. Since 1994, Donna has been a pioneering leader on the front lines of U.S. efforts to make the internet safer for children and families by implementing a three-pronged strategy with the public, the technology industry, and the legal community, sharing the responsibility to protect children. This strategy has been adopted by industries and governments worldwide. Most recently, Enough is Enough created the Internet Safety 101 program with the U.S. Department of Justice. Donna also developed and spearheaded the National Safety Wi-Fi campaign, calling on corporate America to filter pornography and child sexual abuse images on public Wi-Fi. As a result, major corporations, including McDonald's and Starbucks, are now filtering Wi-Fi at all of their company-owned stores in America. Donna, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I love being with my friend Leslie.
Well, I love being with you. We've had some great times together, and I think there's the number one expert in the country on this issue is you, and I know you have some amazing things you want to share today. Let's talk about the technology and what's happening. I mean, you know the trends, you know the dangerous times that we're living in, you know what's happening all over this world. And what are you feeling, and what are we currently facing, Donna?
Well, thank you, Leslie. Yes, one of the things we know and we see throughout at least my 27 years of watching how sexual predators exploit new technologies, and they also exploit vulnerabilities of children. So, of course, COVID hitting the country and shutting down schools and businesses where kids are going to be online more and more was the perfect opportunity for sexual predators to prey. And they did, and they still are. Now, let me say that the pandemic of sexual exploitation was already pandemic before COVID hit. So after COVID, the incidences of child exploitation reports soared, absolutely soared. The incidences of sexting by children went up 186%. Child pornography reports were the highest ever last year in 2020. So when parents recognize this one fact is going to help them protect their kids, and that is where kids are playing, predators are preying, PREYING. So with kids online more, entertainment and school, where do you think the predators are going to be? Right there. So there's more child pornography cases, more sexual predators cases. There's even a trend now where sexual predators, they engage, of course, with kids online. They build their trust. We call it grooming. Now the newer trend is, because all the kids are at home on their devices, they're actually encouraging kids to not only engage with the predator sexually, but to sexually involve or molest a younger sibling, and then to photograph that or to videotape.
That's horrible.
Yeah, horrible. So we see an escalation of abuse, certainly.
Man, whew, that's a lot.
It is.
So it's parents beware. We need to be shouting from the rooftops to parents, be aware what's going on, and where does that bring us? What are the tools to make that happen, Donna? You have them. I know you have them. I've used them over the years with my own kids and my own grandkids.
I'm gonna give a couple of websites, but the first one is, in case you don't hear it at the end, internetsafety101.org.
Yeah, excellent.
101 is a really important the way we frame this, because if you stick to the basics as a parent, no matter what new apps or what new online game or whatever is out there, if you stick to the basics, you're going to have a really, really great chance of preventing exploitation of your child. So what are some of the basics? Well, the very first rule of thumb is to recognize that your child or your grandchild is not immune. They're not immune. They can be super smart. They can be a person of faith. They can be very modest. They may not even like sex. If it's a girl, they may not like boys. If it's a boy, they may not like girls. Yet that doesn't matter. All right. Because we're in a spiritual war and there are forces of evil, and there are very evil people who are all about either making money or exploiting children for, the various reasons that they do this. So realize that your child's not immune. And if you are going to let them use any type of internet connected device, then you as the parent have got to make sure that that device is safe. Why? Because the government's not going to do it and the technology industry is not going to do it. It's all on you as a parent, right? So
That's exactly right.
so there's some I won't cover everything, but I'll cover some of the basics. There are multiple devices, all right? So if it's internet connected, then your child's in danger. So it can be an online gaming system like an Xbox or a PlayStation, certainly the laptop or the computer, the smartphone. So these are very common internet enabled devices. So when you get them out of the box, there are no parental control tools turned on. So you as the parent have got to turn those on, right? So we're going to go through some tools really quickly. You want to make sure you have filters on. Now, if you've got a young child, in my opinion, I don't even recommend you let them on the internet. What you can do is you can go to a white list of safety, just safe sites or sites that you approve of. Okay, so but once you open up the internet, they're going to get all the good that's out there and all the bad. So once you do that, then you want to make sure you've got your filters on. And I recommend at the very highest setting. Number two, you want to turn on monitoring technology as well. And most of your parental control tools will have all of these features. So that will help you see where your kids are attempting to go, even if they're trying to get to some place that you have filtered. That's an important piece of information for you as the parent. The other is time controls. We all know that kids are spending way too much time online, too much screen time is causing all kinds of issues, depression, anxiety, et cetera, et cetera. So I recommend that per child, you can determine how much screen time little Amy gets as opposed to how much screen time Bobby gets, who's 16. All right. So that the tools let you do that. So there are multiple things you can do. If it's a smartphone, you can allow apps or you can disallow apps. You can allow chat, you can disallow chat. So these are things that are particularly important. Those are some of the tools, just some of the basic tools.
So when you say young child, what is young? What ages are you talking about?
Well, we'll realize, first of all, Leslie, a lot of parents are letting their 2 and 3-year-olds on their smartphones to entertain them. Okay? So that it can be that young. So I had a 1-year-old grandchild once sitting on my lap, and he was screaming bloody murder. And he grabs my phone. I'm looking at my phone to call his parents. And he reaches out his little finger on my phone and starts scrolling at 1 year old.
And
right?
They know. Yes.
They know. So be very, very careful. So even if it's your own device and you think you are watching everything, their little fingers and their little curiosity is all over the place. So you want to make sure that even your device, if you let your child use it, is safe and locked down. But Leslie, I want to cover a couple of things on what I call the rules, because we have rules and tools. The rules are the common sense measures that you as the parent need to implement. Okay, so number one, spend time online with your child regularly. Ask them questions regularly. Have ongoing communications. You want to be talking to them about what they're doing, not in a spy mode, not in a I don't trust you mode, but in a this is a device that I paid for. It's yours. It's not a toy. There are good people out there. There's good content. But there's also bad people and bad content. So I'm going to put some controls around this so that you're safe, so that you can enjoy this technology, but that I make sure that you are safe while you are using it. So this is really important. And if you let your kids on social media networks, And I recommend under 13, they're not supposed to be on there anyway, but they can lie about that. So, and they do
Right.
just change their dates of their birthday.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
but go on those social media sites, if it's
Mm.
Instagram or whatever, YouTube, go there, find out what that environment is like, and then decide if you want your child to be able to be in that social media network. And if you do think it's okay, then you should also join that network and just
Good
watch
idea.
what's going on. Also look at their devices. If they're gaming, you know, when you have a game on, a kid can put on their headphones and they can be talking to people in real time. Predators love online gaming. They've got lots of ways to engage with kids. So
Oh my. Mm.
yeah, it's all on our website. You can go there. The information is free. Sign up for our
Amazing.
newsletter
Wow.
because we're sending out information all the time of what's safe, what's
This is
what to be
great.
careful for. Yeah.
Great information. Well, for a while now, I know you've done a lot of petitions, and the one thing that makes me just sick is Teen Vogue and everything going on with Teen Vogue. And tell me about that petition that you've had against Teen Vogue.
Our focus is protecting kids on the internet in the digital world. And Teen Vogue came to our attention a number of years ago when they put out a safe anal sex guide. Think about that. Safe anal sex. They called it Anal Sex 101. And I went, are you kidding me? Well, then because they've got a website that's online, I said, okay, we got to get involved in this to let parents know that what the daughter publication of Vogue magazine, which I happen to like Vogue magazine, not safe. And most parents and most moms would never, ever think. Well, it's gone downhill from there. We did one petition. The digital editor got fired. We got about 50,000 petition signers. Then they just kept getting worse and worse. They're teaching kids how to have abortions without telling their parents, how to get birth control without telling their parents. But then they just really broke the camel's back during the pandemic is they put out new content, encouraging kids. Their audience is 12 to 17-year-old boys and girls. 20 million followers they have. They put out advice for kids to keep their sex lives alive during COVID by sexting. So when a child that's under 17, when they send nude or sexually explicit content, video or pictures of themselves, they are in effect creating child pornography, which is a felony, right? But what's worse than that is that content in the hands of sexual predator or a child pornographer gets spread all over the internet, and you can never take it back. So at that point, we started a Shut Down Teen Vogue campaign. And I just urge Leslie, all those listening to us today, and your supporters to sign that petition, but beware. Your filters may not be blocking teenvogue.com. So if they're not, you need to go ahead and blacklist that site. Yeah.
Well, you know, Donna, you and I both have been working for decades in this field. We go way back. And I know that I look at different people, and sometimes I think they get overwhelmed with a conversation like we're having right now. And I know from my own life, mistakes in my past, and I know that, you know, we both come from real life stories, and God has taken you and turned your whole life upside down, and you have impacted this country and this world. And how are you feeling about, I know we had, obviously someone was praying for us way back when, and there's hope. And how do we leave everyone with hope? I mean, what are some things from the heart, from your heart, if you would share that?
I think the first thing is that we have to realize, like I said, we're in a spiritual war. And if you're a person of faith and you've asked Jesus into your heart, and you've got the Holy Spirit of the living God of the universe, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords living inside of you and guiding you, and ask him to give you red flags when there's something that might be going on with your kid, that maybe all the little practical things that I've told you or you may learn elsewhere, you haven't clicked something that God wants you to know. You may not know. So the prayer is the most important tool you have. The other thing is to be that trusted parent for your child, because they are going through so much. What is bombarding them is huge. But if they know the truth, and even the lessons in Proverbs about teaching the children the way to go, how to navigate the culture, how to navigate temptation, etc. And if you find out your kid's gotten into trouble or gotten hooked on porn or interacting with a sexual predator, whatever it is, know that God can take that situation and work it for good. But you want I would just encourage every parent to never shame your child or blame your child for any of these issues or any of these dangers that they come across, because there are bad guys out there, and then there's a spiritual battle behind it that is looking to kill, steal, and destroy. But we can have victory in this. The technology is fantastic, and we want you and your family to be able to use it safely. And the best weapon that you have is knowledge and understanding of the battle, and then how to navigate it to make sure that your children grow up and to have the future and to walk in the path that God would have them to walk in, and hopefully not fall into some of these traps that are so common these days.
The truth really still sets people free.
Yeah.
And there is hope, and I'm hopeful for what is happening all across this country. I mean, here we are right here, technology, doing something that we weren't doing a couple of years ago. And so we are able to get the information out there to parents, to pregnancy center directors that are doing so much in the area of teaching parents. And I really want to encourage anyone that is listening to us today, that they would take this and get this information out there, and they would equip parents. I mean, have some ladies over for coffee and just say, hey, listen to this. Look what I just learned today. And then you can be conscious of the moment. I go all the time out to dinner or on planes, and I see from the time I get on till I land on a plane, a child is just sitting there staring at this video. And I think parents really, it's a good tool. It's great. I sure never had it. I had to be a little more creative way back when, but they need to know what's going on. And these children are getting addicted to pornography. And tell us a little bit about that too. Let's visit that subject just a little bit.
The new data is showing that kids as young as 7 and 8 years old are getting addicted to very hardcore pornography. So let me just explain a little bit about what's happening
8 years old?
in the world of pornography. It's not the pornography of even 30 years ago, the Playboy Penthouse, that kind of content, or X-rated video. This is very hardcore. About 80 to 90% of it depicts a woman or a girl or a teen girl being abused or violated or degraded in some way. So you can imagine a young boy, 9, 10, 11 years old, where that starts to form his sexual template, where that kind of activity and sexual activity becomes something that excites him. The same thing for girls. Girls are being mistaught by the pornography messages or lies, if you will, that this is what sex is about, and that this is okay, and 3 boys and 1 girl is okay, or anal is great, and this, that, and the other. And you go, no. So here comes back to the parent. If you teach your children about healthy sexuality, and also the fact that they may become excited or aroused by some of this content, that's
real talk.
the way that works. So they shouldn't feel ashamed by it, but that's not the real deal. So you want them to really understand the real deal so that they can start to say no themselves. So that they are not bonding with these images in the pornography, but they will then be able to bond with a future mate. And let me say something else.
That's what it's about.
This pornography that I'm talking about under the law is called obscenity. It is not protected speech for adults or for children. And we have been trying since John Ashcroft was Attorney General to get those laws enforced. And we've got a new petition now for the Department of Justice to start prosecuting the obscenity laws along with child pornography, which they are prosecuting, and sex trafficking laws. And there's a big petition to shut down Pornhub because Pornhub has all of this. And so we ask you to go to our website and sign this because we're the only petition that's saying to also prosecute the obscenity laws, the pornography laws. They're on the books and you can't just cherry pick the law. And we found out, I mean, we tried for 4 years under this past administration. And I find out after the fact that there were deep state bureaucrats that were fighting that effort to get the obscenity laws enforced. So parents need to stand up and cry out and say, no,
yes,
take charge. We got to get these laws enforced.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Donna, this has been awesome today. You are dear to me, and I can't thank you enough. And I look forward to anyone that's listening today that they'll take the action, take charge of their own personal lives with their kids, their grandkids, but they'll each one teach one. Find someone else to talk to today about what you have learned from Donna today. And go online, go to her website, go to the National Abstinence Clearinghouse website, and go to the Virtue website and learn more and get more information. Thank you, Donna. You are one of my favorites and one of God's too. I know it. Thank you.
Donna and Leslie, thank you again for joining us today. And for those of you attending, thank you for carving out time to further educate yourself. If you have additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to our team via email. You can reach us at info@myvirtue.org. You can also give us a call at 605-335-1927. Thanks again for joining us, and God bless.